Good morning, class.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, Sharon. I welcome you this morning. I hope everyone had a good weekend. And in view, I have some announcements to make before we get into the class and review some of the techniques, because I feel that to progress to the stage where I want you to be before we sign off, we may have one or two, if they'll allow me, two more lessons, and we will resume at the temple. So that's a good thing, and there'll be a lot more people.
We can definitely do two more if that's what you'd like. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would like two more to give Sharon, since she's been here every week, and Ron, some kind of a connection and
will you do it also by Zoom? Because
no. Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome. We're so happy you're back here. Good, good, good. Hello, hello. Melissa.
Hi.
Hi there. Thank you. And thank you for your nice words, Ron, and everything. I appreciate it very much so.
Welcome.
I have some announcements to make, and we're going to be graduating in 2 weeks. So we have today and 2 more sessions to give fairness to those that were here every week with me and progressed. And then when we get the green light, we're going to resume. And I would like you to get a little carrying case or some kind of, I have a little plastic attaché case, and all my crayons are in it, my pencils, and I'm going to give you, send out a list. One of the things that I want you to have is something simple. It's called a general gum eraser and a magic marker for our wide doodling and freedom, and of course your crayons and all that. So we have 2 more today and 2 more lessons, and we will stop. But in that interim, when I get to the last lesson, I'm going to give you some things to practice at home. So let's review quickly. We start each lesson with the same thing. And you can hear my music in the background a little louder today, and there's a reason for that. Webster says doodling and scribbling is mindless art. In other words, mindful art is when you're aware of what you're doing, and doodling and scribbling is mindless. That's the basis of this class. While I was waiting for you to begin, I did some mindless art. And after I looked at it again and again and again, I realized I don't think there's such a thing as mindless, because this looks like the COVID virus to me. When I colored it in, and look at it closely, it's circular. It has those orange things. There's tails, this to me tells a little bit of a story. Even though I thought I was doing to music, my subconscious was coming out and I was worried. It looks worrisome to me. So maybe there's a thin line between mindless and mindful. I don't care. There's going to be days when you are completely, and art and doing this will be the key to unleashing what you're feeling and releasing. So obviously when I looked at this, I laughed. I'm obviously worried a little bit because people are starting to get out. And teaching a class Zoom with a pandemic and a class that's supposed to be taught hands-on and together was very difficult. But I think that we progressed, we know where we're going. So that's what I did while I was waiting for you. We start every class the same because we never want to forget it. And there'll be eventually when you'll come to class at the temple and you'll say, oh, Marcy, we get it, not again, not again. And I'm going to say again and again. So here we go. Our SISS, which is the name of the course, the SIS, shape, intensity, size, shade. Never forget that, because that's how you're going to get into what we're doing. Then, quick review, we went over each one. We went over size. doing things, and my son said I need a better setup here. He's going to try and get a graphic person so I can click and then you can see it on a screen done well. That's when I get famous. So we have size, shade, remember shade, which was very important, shading, intensity, different shapes, and all these are just done doodling. And here we are at lesson 4. We're going to review, and lesson 4, we're going to go over fantasy doodling. I looked up the meaning and remember intensity. Light, 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 dark, 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 light, medium, and dark. Remember the intensity. So all of you will nod if you remember all of these things, and I'm talking loud because my music is loud. I have to get up and turn it down. So, are you a little freer now? Let me hear some feedback from the students. Ron, are you a little freer now? Are you getting where we're trying to be?
Oh, absolutely. In the beginning, I had no idea what we were doing, and now it's absolutely free. There's no questions about it.
What a nice dot. That's a nice verification there. Sharon, are you getting where we're trying to be?
I am not freer. I'm frustrated with my clouds. And I've been taking photographs of clouds and trying to get some kind of impression so that but I'm freer doing other things like my gardening and my...
All right, let me ask you, hold up your clouds so Ron and I can preview them.
Well, I wanted to show you this. This was part of the
Oh, let me see. We'll go to that because Ron has some things to show us also.
So this is the second attempt of the clouds. I tried to put trees in, and you said
You're trying to do too much right now. That's good. That's really good. I'm not critiquing and I'm not judging, but the feeling I get from it, the feeling I get from it is very, very free. That's my goal, free.
Okay.
And you have a third one?
No, the second one.
That's it, right?
That was the second one. I'm getting the first one now.
All right, let's look at that again. Let me see if I can demonstrate what I want to say to you.
And I'm using charcoal, pastels.
Okay. Let's look at Sharon's clouds for a minute, and I'm going to demonstrate something. This will free you up. Hold your clouds up a little bit.
This one or this one?
Any of them. The green, let's go with the green line. This is what I see. I see a series. Clouds are never in a series. And the second line, I see another series. And on this one, that's what I see up there. What I've mapped out here is something 1, 2, 3. It's linear. They're the same size. Do you see that, Sharon? It's a pattern. You've made a pattern.
Uh-huh.
Cloud study is about no pattern. What I would like to see is this cloud free-forming into that. I'd like to see this coming down into here. They're like this. They have no pattern. This is not a cloud study. This week, we're going to do another cloud study. And really, what you see isn't what you get, it's what you get when you see. A real cloud study would look something like this. They're long. Sometimes they're long. And sometimes they come out. Then they have this. Then they have that. And then there's a little one next to it. And then there's one that looks like this.
Marcy, turn your camera a little bit closer or to the Better. That's a better angle. Yeah.
Doesn't that look more like a cloud study?
Yes.
Reason being what? I want you to tell me why it looks more like clouds. Because
Okay.
they're not in a line, they're not sized, they're free floating. Sharon, do you see that difference?
I see a difference.
Hey, you have a magic marker.
Yes.
This is gonna really be stepping out of the box for you.
Okay.
Put your cloud study up or down or wherever it is. Now I have a little mini easel and they're like $6. They're no big deal. Take your magic marker. I'm not going to talk, but can you hear my music?
Yeah.
I want you to take your magic marker and flow like a cloud would with that music on paper. You can keep your eyes open. These are just lines. Join your clouds together. Different sizes. Looks like scribble. Ron, do you have your cloud study?
I had it before. I was going to make a new one since you're doing one.
Okay, let's do it. Let's imagine clouds now.
You see these lines?
I do. I prefer black magic marker, which I asked everyone.
This is the magic marker. I thought it was green, but you want black? I can do black.
I would prefer black. While we're doing Zoom, I would prefer black. Right, I'm going to do the exercise with everybody. Going to hold my magic marker as if it was an extension of my mind and my brain, not like I'm going to write, but like I'm going to draw. So everybody take you have a magic marker on?
I'm going to use a black pen.
Okay, fine. Think about the clouds. They're no pattern, they're never in a line, they're never uniform, they're always different. They're always free form. Ready? They go into each other. They fade. What have you got? Very good. Out of the line, out of the box, Ron. Very, very good. Very good. Okay, this is a wonderful exercise. Now, what do we do with them? They're like that. They're all free form. What do you see as a way of expressing anything on this? What would you like to do with these? Color them in?
Yes.
Or what would you like to see with Ron? Yours are very good also. Very good.
I'd like to see blue, white.
Okay. We could do that. You could do that on your own time as a freedom. Today, we're going to spend half the class on this doodling process and mapping. We're getting in, did everybody choose an object? All right, let's talk about the object you chose. Ron, you first.
Got an interesting cup.
Very interesting, very difficult. That's very, very advanced, but we'll try and tackle it. Okay, Sharon, what did you choose?
I have a shell. I always wanted to do, can you see that? It's one of those snail shells.
I do.
I always wanted to do a painting and use all these shells as the eyes for the painting.
Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about our doodling homework. We did our clouds and we became free, very free.
These are all my doodles.
Okay. I see a uniformity to them also. I don't see anything that rushes your hand. Sharon?
I changed the size of the paper.
Okay, remember, shade, intensity.
For doodling too?
Absolutely.
What about this right in the middle, right here?
While I was waiting, I did show you something that I did. Boy, I can't wait to get to the temple and do this. I'm so cramped up here. All right, I took my magic marker. I showed you this last week and I did more. And there's intensity, there's dark, there's light, there's movement, there's checks. There's a whole bunch of different things, but I don't know where it is. Here it is. It's what I showed you in the beginning. My doodling, which is advanced doodling. Advanced doodling is intensity, shade, size. It's an incorporation of everything. I want you guys to read. You think I'm being repetitive or silly, but to get outside of your mental box, you've got to remember I need to use all the ingredients. I need to use intensity, shading, size, shape. You need to use them all, and that's what's going to get you to fine-tune that into when we get to mapping and drawing. So your homework for the week, and it's very important because we're winding down, is to doodle on a page using all of those ingredients, and then when we come back next week, I want you to show me where your intensity was, where your shapes, different shapes. I want them to run into each other. I want you to come up with an advanced doodle page. So while you're watching TV, you'll go through many. Just take a little pad and pencil and doodle and light and doodle and light. I use doodling with a pencil because that will give me, I can press down on it, I can go like this, I can do anything, or a magic marker, or something that is definitive. So I want to graduate from this doodling into real mapping. We're going to take, our objects today and start the map. So, Ron, what's your homework for the week? Advanced doodling with all the ingredients: size, shape, intensity, shading. Exactly. It's going to be something you're going to present to the class of an advanced doodle where you have it, you can color it, you can not color it, you can put clouds in it. It's a combination of everything we've learned for 4 lessons. If you've learned anything, you've learned how to be free with your pen or pencil. Okay, that's the homework. Now, let's go to your objects. Does everybody remember the object I chose?
Yes.
What we're doing, and you may want to make some notes so that you could do this on your own. It's called mapping. So the first thing we're going to do, and I'm going to work with you on your objects. I'm going to take an expensive, this is expensive, it's about $36 a tablet, but it's made for charcoal and pastel. And I'm going to take a page of this, and we're going to go over each of your objects that you chose. So let's start with the shell and the glass. Now, if you've paid attention to anything we've said, we did shape. Ron, hold your glass up, and I'd like the class to identify your shapes. Let's focus on Ron's glass. Hold it a little bit higher. Okay. What shape do you see for the top of the, first of all, let's see how tall that is. Take your pen or pencil and let's see how tall that glass is.
A ruler. It's like 13 inches.
13 inches?
Yes.
So this is about 8. All right, so we're going to reduce that to about 8 inches.
Okay.
Mentally. It's this is the size of it. That's what we're going to draw. The top, if you were to put a line in the middle, now this is important to see what I'm doing. I have the size. Now what's in the middle of your glass, Ron?
Unknown caller.
What?
In the middle of the glass, it's a blue.
No, the whole shape, the middle. If you were to take your glass, what's in the middle? What's nothing really. There's nothing in the middle of yours. But on the top portion of yours is a triangle, correct?
It looks like a, just like it is a circle.
No, you're going to look at it. Which way do you want to draw it?
Well, I think this way would be the way I'd look
Okay.
at it.
Fine. Okay. So if this is the middle, hold it up again so we can study. We're doing a study on your object, then we're going to study the shell. So in the middle, you have nothing but it looks like a stem, and it goes down to here. And we're not giving it a shape yet. And then on the bottom, you have another shape, which is this, like a circle.
A base.
Can everyone see what I did?
No,
If you were to look at this right now, you'd say you can't see it.
it's too light.
Let me do it with a magic marker. That's why we need to meet at the temple. I would never do it with a magic marker. We have the size of your element. You see that, correct?
Yes.
And there's a middle. To every object has a middle. It has a top, a bottom, and a middle. Every object. Mine, a top, a bottom, and a middle. It also has a direction. My direction was a little bit slanted, but nonetheless, I have you see my line, a top, a bottom, and a midpoint. You all see that?
Yes.
And mine is a series of circles. That's what I see when I look at it, is a bunch of circles. When you look at yours, Ron, what do you see? You see different shapes. You see on the top part, you're looking at this now, you're examining. If you were a coroner and this was something you had to examine, or you were an architect or anything where you had to examine it, it has a size, it has a shape, and it has a direction. Yours is it straight up and down?
No, it's curved. It's curved.
Where is it curved? On the top part or the bottom?
Both. It goes from the bottom to the top. It's just a.
Is it curving right or left? Now, which way
Right.
do you want to draw it? That way,
Right.
or you turn it the other way and see how you feel? Which way,
It's turning to the left.
but which way do you like it?
I'm used to right because I'm right-handed.
So in the middle to the bottom, there's a curve like that, correct?
Yes.
And there's a V on the top?
It's a, a wine glass.
I
it's
know what it is. I've had many of those, I know what it is. But it's a triangle to me. It's a triangle.
Okay.
And the bottom is a circle, like a flat circle.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's
What
it.
does this look like to you?
Almost a lamp.
Okay, but it's your glass because we're going to fine tune it. But we mapped it out.
Okay.
Okay, I want you to put your glass someplace where it's going to be every time you come back to it. Pick a spot where you're going to keep it in that position. Pick a spot at your drawing desk. And I want you to make the bottom and the top and the middle, the top shape, the bottom, just map it out and then we'll see, but map it out with a pencil. All right, Sharon, let's do your shell. It's going to be interesting, Ron, if you pay attention to how we map out Sharon's shell. And then, this is something you could do, and you can change this object. If this is too difficult, maybe now we know how to map, we're going to do something simpler. See, your shell is like this shell. It's the same premise. All right, let's start with number 1. The first thing in mapping is?
It's the size.
So how big,
1 inch. 1 inch.
Okay, well, that's too small for the first lesson. So let's beef that up and let's make it at least 5 or 6 inches. Pretend that it's bigger. So what you see isn't what you get, it's what you get when you see. So now we're going to see it larger.
Okay.
All right? Can we expand our brain to see that? If we put it on larger. So what shape is it, Sharon?
It's a circle.
Well, let's draw a 6-inch circle. What else is, Ron, can you see the shell? Ron, is there anything else about the shell that you could see? Hold it up. There's a circle in the circle, correct?
Yeah.
Is it in the middle?
Slightly below the,
Top, bottom?
it's slightly higher to the top.
Does it take up half of it? Does it take up a little tiny bit of it? What's the proportion of the circle in the middle?
It's maybe 1.5 compared to 6 inches if we're doing it. So it's 1.5 inch compared to this.
Okay, would this be about right? Something like that?
Yeah.
So if you're going to draw a donut and then a donut hole, you'd make the hole a little bit towards the top. It's simple, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so just do that. Now, what are the other elements? We have shape, we have size, we have...
Shading.
Ron, hold up your glass one more time. Glass is very hard, but we'll try. Now, which way is the light hitting that glass? Left to right, right to left?
Left to right.
So the left side is going to be what? Lighter? According to what we learned, right?
Yes, lighter, and the right side will be darker.
Correct. All right. So we know that the light is here. Sharon, where are you going to put yours?
Mine is the left coming to the right. The left side is lighter.
The left side is lighter, so it's going to be here. So we have a mapping out of a shape and size and where the light's coming from. All right. I've done the same thing with mine. I have circles, a little circle, a bigger circle. I've numbered them. This is just a mapping. This isn't what we're going to, this is just the exercise. And what I've done is Ron, you have three things on your glass. We have the top, we have the stem, and we have the bottom. So number 1 would be the glass, number 2 would be your stem, and number 3 would be your bottom. Sharon, you have the wholeness of the shell is your first priority, and then you have the eye, correct?
Right.
Simple. Mine, on the other hand, has
3 circles
yeah, it has the 3 circles,
at a diagonal.
and it's on a diagonal, so I had to get a shape, I had to get a size, and I picked an object that was basically the size of my pen so that I could easily figure out the proportion. So then I connected my shapes. Let's go back to Ron's glass. I hated to do this with the magic marker. It throws everything off. Ron's shape of his glass had a swooping top and another circle on the top. Hold your glass up again, Ron. Right. There's a rim. There's a V. And then this comes off. Do you notice that his stem doesn't come off the bottom? Where does the stem come off of? Right about there, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it connects, we're connecting it to the bottom. So it's a sweeping, it looks something like that. I wish I could erase the other thing. It looks something like that. And this looks like this. We're just drawing the basic shape. Doesn't that look pretty much like your glass? Or a desk lamp or whatever it is?
I'm impressed.
Okay, well, I want you to be impressed with your own thing also.
Okay.
So put your glass down and practice this. You can make many of these in the middle, and then you can make them smaller. You can make them larger, but you're just sketching in. We're going to pick things next week that are a little easier and a little more definitive. Or if you want to stay with that glass, we could do that because it's interesting. We could stay with Sharon's shell. Now, what I've done, because my object has interest to it, I've not only connected the dots, but I've shaped each dot. I'm redefining my top, my middle, this. I started out, if you look closely at mine, and I really, really see it, my object has little dots. It has little dots within the flowers. It's very interesting, and it's got shine, and it's got, the bottom has lines. You see all the different shapes. We have a line, we have circle, we have dots. So now what I've done here is instead of just a circle, I put in dots. Then it has these interesting petals that come out, And so with my gum eraser, I'm going to erase all the silly lines that aren't in it, really, that aren't in it. And work really just on the shape right now. A gum eraser will erase all of this. And it's going to start to be more defined. And that's what we're going to work on next week. Let's go back to the shell. Is there anything inside of this circle? Is there anything inside the circle?
Just light lines.
Ah, I love what you just said. Light lines. How are the lines going?
Swirly.
Why don't you swirl in? Why don't you? Oh, I hate this. Swirl in some lines in there. I'm off. Jeez. This class is impossible to teach at home.
I like it at home.
I know. Look, can I see the shell? Light lines, they're swirly,
Mhm.
so they're light.
Yep.
Is the shape really circular or is it oval? It's very hard to see. And your fingers, it looks like it goes like this. And my hand is free to do that because I've been practicing. It has a better shape than you have to define that shape. How are you holding your pencil, Sharon? I think you're holding it very good. Okay. I'm going to work on this glass a little bit. I have top and bottom, a midpoint. It comes down. It has this. This comes here. This is round. This goes up.
It seems to me the shell would be easier to paint than draw.
We're not going to, these objects that we chose today, I'm doing mine because I've already done this, but I'm practicing mapping. Is there another object on your desk for now? Ron, is there anything else on your desk that you could just pick up and we could practice this? Sharon, here's a shell that I did on mapping.
Yep.
I started out with a bottom, a top. Can you see this?
Yep.
I held the shell like this, and it was, to me, it was a cone, so I did that first. And then it had shading because the light was hitting it, and it just came out like that. Now yours can be that way as well. I have other things that I've done with mapping, just to show you. I want everyone to look. Do you see, Sharon? You see a bottom and a top. You see lines, and all I did was connect. This was a circle and a triangle and then a straight line, and then I made it wavy. Do you see my markings, the mapping lines?
Yep.
Wouldn't you like to get to something like this where it actually looks like what it's supposed to be? Because you're thinking outside the lines. You're thinking outside the lines now. You're creating your own line. This is a series of a circle, of a triangle, of a line, of a circle, of another triangle. And then I took my gum eraser and I got rid of the lines that were used in the mapping. Look. And shading, and there you are. If we're going to advance to color, which we are, these things that I showed you the first day of class, are we all looking?
Yep.
These started out as 3 circles. You can almost see them. And then the circle had a tip on the end. And line. It's very simple. Are you looking at this in terms of dissecting it now? Do you see it the way I'm teaching it to you? Ron, do you see it?
Yes.
3 circles. Then I redefined the circle. Then I connected it and I made that. And then my light was coming this way. So that was lighter. I did another study. This was one of my first things that I did. I just took leaves from it, and these were 2 ovals. Then I started at the top of one oval, and it had a point. And then a little further down, according to my pencil, right about here was another point. Then right about here was another point. And then the oval came to a point, and I started shading. We're going to be able to do this. You are going to be able to do this. I could not do anything like this, honestly, until I got this, and I showed you this at the first day also. My 8-year-old grandson, it was a plastic fruit. We started out, we showed him where the light was coming this way, and so he shaded it on this side. And he did this, and this is how he started the map. 8 years old. I don't know if you could see this or not. Can you?
Yeah.
That's how he started. So we're going to be practicing this. Today's lesson was just a little introduction to mapping. Is there anything else on your desk that we can do a quick study? And we're going over time a little bit, because you guys are getting this. Is there anything on your desk you could pick up?
I've got this, but this looks more complicated. This is just a round thing with colors inside.
Okay, well, I'd like you to pick up something solid.
All right, I'm going to move over. Oh, that's nice.
What is that?
A magnifying glass.
A what?
You open it up and it's a magnifying glass.
Oh, okay. All right.
Is this too small?
What is it?
It's a little,
Pencil holder.
No, does it have a shape to it?
yes, it's,
Comes in and comes out.
Okay, that's perfect. Let's practice with that. Put it down somewhere, okay? And now I'm going to put you guys on your honor. Put it down, and let's do size. According to the pencil you're drawing it with, how big is it according to the pencil you're drawing it with? Number 1.
say 4 or 5 inches.
Okay, is it the size of your pencil?
What do you mean size of?
Is it the height of your pencil or shorter
Yes.
than your pencil?
No, it's, oh, it's shorter than the pencil.
Okay,
The pen-
so hold your pencil up to the paper, pick the size, and do a top and a bottom. Okay, now define your shape. What shape is it? Yours is like a rectangle, it looked like, drawn.
That looks like 2 circles to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, two
What does it
circles.
look like to you, Ron?
Two circles, you know, a small circle and then a bigger one.
All right, so do a middle line in your thing and find out where the circles connect. Over the middle, under the middle, or at the middle?
Looks like closer to the middle.
All right, so make a thin line in the middle. And connect your two circles, but they're not round circles. They're just kind of like little melty circles. Put your two circles in. Sharon, how are you doing? Mapping yours out?
Well, I was just doing Ron's.
Oh, okay, great. That's even better.
Hey, that's surprising.
Well, I like that shape better. Mine was kind of lost.
Okay, all right, Ron, let's see, hold yours up. Did you connect the shapes?
I got an extra part in mine, but it's,
What?
I got a little extra part.
Okay, put it back down. Now, the top circle, does it come into the middle or does it go out from the middle? Define the top circle to the middle. It comes in on both sides a little bit,
It
right?
comes in a little.
Over the line or under the middle?
Pretty much the same circumference as, you know, goes under.
So if you were going to connect those two, you would connect them at the middle, but you would come in and then on
Yes.
the bottom one, you go out, correct?
Yes, yes.
Let's do that. Make it definite. Now shape your shapes. Shape your shapes. You are now sketching. Sharon, let's see yours.
I made two of them. One,
Okay. Now let's talk about the top of your pencil holder. Is that as big as the middle, or is it smaller than the middle?
hold it up again, Ron. Goes in a little bit.
Okay. Let's make the top go in a little bit. And it's like a halo around it. Why don't you put that in? Then we're going to figure out how the bottom comes down to the bottom of your bottom line. And we're going to figure out where the light comes in from. And you're going to have pretty much a beginner's sketch of a pencil holder. And I think that's a very good object. It's easy. It has two definitive shapes. I like that. That's a good choice. Well, I have everybody sketching. I'm telling you. Yay, everyone. Give yourself a pat on the back, guys. It was a process, doodling, freedom, learning the intensity, the shape, the size, bring yourself up with the clouds, and now defining your shapes. I couldn't be happier. I don't care what they look like. I know that you're getting the process. We're going to do it.
I'm going to have to jump off in 2 minutes because I have
Okay.
12 o'clock.
All right. So homework for next week. Different objects. We're going to do a bunch of different objects, mapping them out, and we're going to finally pick one object for the end class. I did many before I decided on this, and this is going to be my end one. So your homework for next week: continue to doodle. I want to see some really wonderful doodling next week. I mean, I want to see things like this, where you take and you doodle different shapes, different sizes, intensity. This is an advanced doodle page because I have all my ingredients of SISS on one page. Shape, shading, size, shade, intensity. I want to see next week, we're going to save these because these are going to be our first clothespin things that we're going to hang up. You're gonna sign these. I'm gonna collect them, and when we start our class, for the others that join, we're gonna have these ready, because this is not easy. This is not easy. When you take people who are used to coloring in the lines and doing flat drawing or whatever, this takes practice. I have squares, circles, triangles, squiggle. I have every shape I could think of that day. So I'm expecting, I really am going to be tough on you guys. I'm expecting some, bye Sharon. I'm expecting some masterful doodle page next week, Ron. And then we're going to hold up our mappings and explain what we did. In other words, we're going to take 3 or 4 objects, like that pencil jar, going to map it out. I did top, I did bottom, I did midpoint, they come in. You're going to do it with some different objects, and you would have completed really the first phase of this class. And then we're going to get into real sketching and shading, and you're doing it. Mazel tov.
Thank you. It's fun.
Okay, we'll see you next week.
See you.